Good evening. Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm about to give a really unpopular opinion, and I'm sure it's going to be especially unpopular amongst women.
I'm Gray Mars. Break a record by being with 100 men in one day. And right after she was done, she recorded a documentary.
I'm a vegan weed. Call yourself fresh and wear the same weak ass turtleneck on every show. Goddamn. Then we got goddamn the Sudanese Sambo. Bruh, man.
And I'm Enzo. Bringing up in my lives is they're like, oh well, he's violating the Constitution by having a meme coin and him making money off it in office and everything like that. I was like, if that was the case, like there would be lawsuits up the ass and impeachment in court.
I'm skeptic. Like I always say, don't let anybody trample on your constitutional rights.
I'm Mia. That's not a correct power dynamic in my mind. Typically, the people that are trying to be removed are not in control. That's why they're easily being removed.
Yo, that was fire.
Yeah.
I like that, though. I like that.
The person that's dealt with some people in the industry, I can personally tell you, most of them are bullshit. Most of them got something going on and they crazy, and they will have you. I'm talking about they'll have you crazy.
Yeah, you look professional, bro. You look real professional.
Switch happened. Come on, man. You gotta acknowledge this. This is the problem that I have with elders like you, because you fail to acknowledge that this stuff has happened. We down.
That mean I'm doing my job.
Hey.
If we sit there and be old school, we gonna miss the boat. You know, a lot of this kids 19 years old buying houses with Bitcoin, buying Maserati.
Wow.
That rotten bitch.
She's the worst. I can't think of a worse way to make money. She's the most articulate idiot I've ever seen in my fucking life. She's so articulate, she can tell you how fucking stupid she is precisely. And she told George Floyd's rap record on the internet, oh, he was this, he did that, and he's a drug addict, and he's not a hero, and why does the black community make him a hero? Why do you choose him as a hero? We didn't choose him, you did. They killed him, and that wasn't right, so he's the guy. We're not desperate for heroes in the black community. Any nigga that survives this nightmare is my goddamned hero.
Took money to talk negatively about Candace Owens. I woke up this morning to these messages asking me if I had been paid by somebody to share my negative feelings about Candace Owens. And I'm like, where the F is this coming from? So I go and I search on the app. Apparently, she's paying 10 grand to find out what person or agency is trying to get influencers to like slander her on the internet, as though we're not allowed to have our own opinions about her behavior, as though we don't have our own minds and we don't have our own feelings that we can express. We have to be paid for those opinions? Candace, are you really honestly saying that people are not smart enough out here in the real world, us little lowly influencers, to have our own opinions on the matter? First off, if you're new here, hi, I'm Claire Patriot and I have integrity. I have never, nor will I ever take money to speak about anybody. What kind of Delulu land are you living in? You not look at your own actions from the last several months and realize that people probably have strong opinions about the things you're saying? Do you honestly believe that we should all just jump on anything you say and agree with you at all times? And if we're not agreeing with you, that must mean that we're taking money? Luckily, the people that have messaged me about it, I don't know them personally. So maybe we'll just give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're just randos that saw my video. I would hope anybody that knows me personally that I talk to on this app would know better than that. Candace, if you're listening to this, nobody paid me a penny to have my negative opinions about the things you've been saying and doing all over the internet. I had all those big girl thoughts all on my own. I can't even believe I had to say that. This is just for entertainment.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're gonna keep it going with y'all.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Enzo.
I'm Kamal.
I'm Skeptic.
And tonight on the new party, we're going to talk about why has Candace Owens betrayed MAGA? And why have they betrayed her? According to MAGA, she's turned their back on them, and we're going to break it down why. In the first two clips I played for you, I played the wonderful Dave Chappelle, funniest probably comedian in my opinion alive, and I played a good friend of the show, Claire Patriot. Shout out to Claire. If you're not already following her, please go give her a follow. And I asked Claire personally, privately, I said, hey Claire, has anyone hit you up to ask you to make videos on Candace? She said no one that she knows either, and she's friends with some pretty big content creators, 500,000 plus followers, and no one has been hit up. However, Candace did break down today who has been hit up, and I'll tell you guys about it later on the show. But before we get into it, we'll give our opinions on Candace, and then we'll go into the next story of the night. Gray, are you a fan of Candace or not?
I never really was a fan of Candace. I did like that Candace took a risk as a black woman and started talking about right-wing politics. I will give her that. And like Dave Chappelle says, she is articulate. The craziest thing about Candace Owens is that she actually sued for a hate crime, and then like she grew, then she got paid, and then she became this right-wing person, and then like, but you're a victim of a hate crime, but you're just totally against kind of like civil rights for black. So I think that's interesting with Candace Owens' story. But shout out to Claire. Claire collaborated with us prior to even the election, and she's going to be a VIP and Turning Point in Tampa. So she's done a lot of stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. Also, guys, we are accepting super chats tonight, and we're starting a new thing where we're going to be looking for bounties. If you're interested in being a bounty, what does that mean? So for $9.99 or more in a super chat, you can put someone's name and request for them to sit out. Skeptic, I'll tell you more about it offline, but pretty much that's what we're starting tonight. So, for example, if I don't really like Kamal, I'm going to be like $9.99 super chat and bounty Kamal. Kamal will sit out for about 3 minutes and vice versa. So, guys, I know we're getting kind of hot sometimes. I think it's going to be a pretty even keel night. We have a good balance. But if you don't like somebody, have them sit out, including me, because I know a lot of you guys, especially on Kamal's side, really love me. So send those super chats, $9.99 and better. You can put the name of the person that you want to sit out. Skeptic, what's your thoughts? Are you a fan of Old Candy?
I'm not a fan of hers, but I have listened to her and I knew that about her. She basically would argue that racism is like no longer a thing and that systemic racism never existed. And the funny part about it, or the ironic part, was that she herself was a victim of racism and of somebody being racist towards her, and she sued and made money from it. So very hypocritical when I found that out. And she does speak very eloquently, but it doesn't necessarily mean that she actually believes what she's saying. You know, there's a lot of people that say things, but in reality, they don't have any character and they're just speaking because that's how they make their money. And I think that she kind of went too far. And then she kind of like created this persona and she can't go back on it. I had said this earlier on because she completely stopped talking about politics. And I was saying, oh, you know, she went back into doing journalism and was talking about, I forget the girl, but it was an actor girl. And I was like, this is the stage one in PR for you to try and change your image. And it's not going to work. Like, you don't just come and deconstruct a big issue in a community and then try and say I'm going to change my stance and, you know, try and redo my image. So yeah, I definitely am not a fan of hers.
Facts. Enzo, what about you? You a fan?
I mean, I really never was a fan of her. I don't really pay attention to a lot of left or right wing paid speakers whatsoever, because I mean they're just gonna speak about whatever they're paid to speak about. I like the people that are actually just doing it for the love of it, that they don't have a paycheck coming to them at the end of the day from some super PAC or anything like that. I mean, I've seen like the great clips of her going to like college campuses. Like my favorite one is "Life's hard, get a helmet" when she was pregnant on stage. That's really all I've seen about her. I never paid attention to her podcast or anything else that she really has done.
Oh, okay. Well, then you're gonna learn a lot about her tonight, then, right? Kamal, I know you know all about her. Are you a fan? What's up?
Hell no, I'm not a fan of this Caribbean. You feel me? Her cooning. God damn, man. She's so goddamn anti-black and now she's trying to gravel back to the black community. Like, bro, take your ass, use your Caribbean bias like you got, and talk to your Caribbean folks to help you out. I've never been a fan. That bullshit she said about George Floyd sound like some people on the man cave that I ain't gonna say. Sound like the same rhetoric. God damn. Like ridiculous. Candace Owens on the same shit. And look, a broken clock is always right twice a day. Sometimes Candace Owens might say some shit right. But for the most part, if you bricking 90% of the time, that means you got a terrible jump shot. That means you suck. I don't give a damn she make 10% of her shots. Get the F out of here with that. And with that being said, man, enough of Candace Owens. I need to start saying this in the beginning of the show. Y'all start hitting that notification bell for the new party so y'all know when we going live. That is very important. I got to start saying that too and reminding people to do that. So.
For sure.
Yeah. No, for sure. Where's the... Oh, let me play the video. Okay, guys. So that's not the first topic of the night. We have other things to hit. So Chris Como is probably a little salty because his brother lost terribly. Let me play this clip and hear what he has to say.
Them from having the nuke. Impeach Trump is the opposite of having a better idea. You're killing your party. You're killing your party. And look, I hope it works out for you. I hope you guys splinter off and become, you know, whatever you really are. Because you're not a capitalist and you're not a Democrat. And, you know, you could say, well, what do you know? I was raised by a real one. I was raised by a real one. Go ahead and criticize Mario Cuomo. What's going to be your biggest insult? That he spawned me and Andrew? Is that going to be the best you have? Because you ain't shit compared to him. Not in terms of intelligence, not in terms of success, not in terms of pedigree, not in terms of philosophy, not in terms of mission, not in terms of eloquence, not in terms of charisma, not in terms of anything. Certainly not electability. You are killing your party because you are not a real one. Because you're doing what's good for you in a vacuum with your little social media following. You're no different than a pod bro. And you're killing your party. And Democrats better wake the fuck up and realize that you're better than this. Be with the 80, not the 20. Okay?
So, Skeptic, do you think that this is killing your party? Is she bad for the Democrat Party?
I think that Chris Como hangs around with a lot of conservatives. Like I know the guy from that podcast, the Brian guy, that he's like been on his podcast multiple times. I think that sometimes when you start hearing rhetoric from like another, AOC is a very intelligent woman. She has a double major, and I don't necessarily think the way that the right like makes her look is accurate. So I don't agree with him. I think that Chris Como, I don't know like why he has such a high standing and why we should listen to his opinion, but I think that maybe he has been hanging around some conservatives. I've also noticed that with other podcasters that were more left leaning, they start hanging around and listening to Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson, and they end up coming back and kind of saying some weird things. So honestly, that's what I think of. I stopped, like, I'm not really a fan of Chris Como. I never have been, of him or his creepy brother. So I don't know like what his whole idea with that is, but I think that AOC is a good candidate for Democrats. I actually like her. I like all of the newer, younger generation, like Jasmine Crockett. Like I'm very pro for younger people to be getting invested, because these older Republicans are going to eventually, you know, they're going to be out of the loop. So, and they already are. Like Trump is like old, you know, they're all older. So I think the younger ones that are Democrats, I think. Sorry, my daughter's here.
It's okay. Gray, what's your thoughts? I mean, should she leave the party? Would you support an AOC ticket? Because she's the front runner, they're saying, for the nomination come 2028.
I'm a more moderate Democrat than I am progressive. So I feel like with like these Christian nationalists, when you have these progressive policies with people that you could convince, do you have people like AOC and the guy that just got elected, you kind of push away the people that we could easily get to vote Democrat, because then they say, oh, they're so extreme. Look at this one or this two person. So like it's only Bernie Sanders, AOC, and the squad, but they will paint that entire group as the entire entire Democratic Party.
So would you support a transgender principal?
Would I support a transgender principal? Depends on if they're good for the job. I'm not gonna like discriminate. It's illegal.
I just asked because, you know, King Jay said last night, if you guys get in power, he wants transgender principals at all the schools.
I think he was exaggerating, but that's what I'm saying with Christian nationalists like yourself. Y'all go find the smallest thing and say, "Oh, look, they're trying to do this," when it's just a normal guy with a union job that just wants good benefits, and then you go and paint the party as like these crazy people. So that's the issue.
Oh, okay. Enzo, what's your thoughts? Should AOC leave the party?
Where's she gonna go? What party is she gonna go to? We don't want
The
her.
Green Party.
Yeah, go to the Green Party. Be endorsed by the Triple K. That's fine. Have fun with that. I mean, I agree. I don't like Chris Cuomo or Andrew Cuomo whatsoever, but I do agree with what he said. You guys are on the wrong side of 80-20 issues. That's really what it is on the Democratic side, is you guys pay attention to the 20% and not the 80%, and that's why the Democrat numbers are in the shitter. Like, can we talk? Can we talk about that?
This.
Yeah.
The most progressive candidate did an upset the other night. Why was that? As somebody that lives in the tri-state area, why did the progressive guy win?
People don't like Cuomo. That's what it is. I think it's crazy. So I didn't know shit about what's his name when he won it all. I've been learning so much about him over just like the last like couple days. New York, if he gets elected, y'all are cooked. You done? No, that is gonna turn the city terribly. No, we don't. They don't want that over there. So I don't realistically think he's gonna win whatsoever once people really start looking into the guy. I think they just saw Cuomo on a ticket and said, nope, we dealt with this for fucking however how long. We don't want him again. That's what I think that was.
Right. Well, you guys can go watch our video, our live stream yesterday during the day. We did lunch with the new party. We talked about the upset, and I also played a lot of clips. I talked about what he's promising. You can go watch it. Kamal, do you know about the guy that won? Do you think do you think this should be assigned to Republicans? I know you're apolitical, but do you think this should be assigned to the rest of the country that a very progressive person won the mayoral candidate of one of the biggest cities in the country?
Not really, because Cuomo name is mud in these streets, just like Gavin Newsom. His mud is shit in the streets. Like, you feel me? The dude that won, his name, who is it? Mariani? Is like
Yeah.
ain't that like, is that Kamala Harris' brother? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
He's
But
Ugandan and Africans, possibly.
I don't, it could be. Who knows? You feel me? But, I mean, him winning, it was more of Cuomo losing. You feel me? It ain't had nothing to do with him winning. It was more of bruh losing. His name is mud in the goddamn streets. You feel me? And I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Y'all best candidate for the Democrats is AOC. You feel me? Like Gavin Newsom, done. Jasmine Crockett, she just took the big L of being like the head Democrat House committee thing. That ain't a good look. You feel me? Bernie Sanders.
Jasmine Crockett's the head of a committee?
No, she lost to this dude named Robert Garcia that is actually a Democrat in California, right? She lost. It's this thing called being the House Democrat or the head House Democrat thing. I don't know. She lost a big role, took the L, and it ain't a good look because she was in last place, which means her own party ain't really voting for her to be in an important position. So that ain't a good look. You feel me? And Bernie Sanders been losing since 1925. You feel me? He ain't about to win a goddamn thing. So AOC is.
So let me ask the Democrats on the line. Would you vote for a Sanders AOC ticket? Yes or no?
Me? No.
I definitely would.
I wouldn't.
That's a split.
That's a split right there.
Yeah.
For me, why I wouldn't. I think Bernie Sanders. Listen, I'm definitely for the government doing this job and like helping his people. But to me, Bernie Sanders is the left-wing version of Trump to a certain degree. And a lot of Bernie Sanders voters in 2016 actually went to Trump when Hillary Clinton got the nomination. So for me, I feel like, yes, we need to be more progressive. We need to change a lot more things. But I do feel like if you go too far and say, hey, we're going to do like all of this spending, you're not going to be able to win election because Republicans don't want to see people get free stuff. So you got to have somebody that's in the middle. I don't even think that they're going to run another woman. I think the Democrats are going to be so afraid that they're like, you know what? We ran 2 women back to back and we lost. We're not doing this anymore.
Facts. Well,
I think
we'll see, but sorry.
the
Go ahead.
only thing that I would be worried about is how old Bernie Sanders is. But it's like for age wise, I think that it's a little questionable because he's kind of way up there in age. But I feel like his background is, for the majority of it, he has stood on the same things and the same principles for a long time. So I think he's a good candidate. But yeah, he is way up there in age. So that's a con for him.
He'll be 87.
Skepta, you right. He been standing on shit for a very long time. Since the 1900s, I think.
Yeah, he was pro civil rights movement and stuff. So I think that Bernie, if anything, he's like a very genuine person. He's not like grifting in and out of things. He's actually standing on what he really believes, which I think that should hold some type of respect, because I meet people all the time and they're just talking off the side of their head, you know? So I think like that matters. The fact that you really hold certain values, that you have character.
How old is he?
He's 83 right now. He'll be 84 in September. So by the time the election came around
86.
in November, he would be 88.
God damn.
Oh, good luck. Mazel
He'd be the
tov,
oldest.
as they
He'd be the
say.
oldest elected president of all time.
Yeah, he's too old. That's crazy.
All right, guys. So I got another Democrat I'm about to play a clip on. You know, we have a lot of old videos talking about this fool. You can go check out our old stuff. It was a oldie but a goodie. Here we go. Let me play him.
About this, I'm a black man in America. The reason why heart disease.
I'm white, I can't comment.
Listen to what I'm saying. The reason why heart disease and cancer and obesity and diabetes are bigger in the black community is because of the stress we carry from having to deal with being called the N-word directly or indirectly every day. If you can't be calm about this, I'm.
Jeez. Gray, what do you think about what he said? Why do black people in this country have such health disparities? And I'm actually going to play another clip of my reason why, but I'll let you say your reason why.
I mean, we're more likely to have high blood pressure. I have high blood pressure. I'm definitely not going to blame it on the N-word. My doctor would be upset as much as we talk. Shout out Dr. Ball. And I was in the fitness industry, CrossFit industry, doing software for a long time. So I'm definitely more pro health with a person eating right and a person working out. So I feel like it's irresponsible to say it's a social thing. I mean, stress does kill, but health-wise, if you have heart disease issues or things with your health, look at your diet, go work out, and go talk to your doctor.
That's a great answer, Gray. Taking personal accountability. Kamal, the other FBA on the line, why are black people so unhealthy in America? Is it due to the N-word?
I mean, that's dumb as hell. It's not due to the N-word because you either fat as hell or you just ain't eating right and eating cookies and Twinkies and shit. Look, I'm gonna be real though. Like, you know, I'm in the health somewhat. I work out, stretch, and all that good shit. I'm in okay shape. You know, I used to play basketball and that good jazz. But we can't forget the fact though, it is some environmental racism going on, and they putting Tesla factories next to black communities and all types of other bullshit that gives you cancer and stuff like that. So I ain't gonna negate that fact, even though I'm doing okay in the health department and working out and in the fitness somewhat and stuff like that. You feel me? You know, you do gotta get up and get it yourself, but I ain't gonna disregard those issues and those certain things that is going on. You feel me?
I think it goes back further, but I'll play the clip and we can talk about it. Enzo, I know I'm not going to ask you comments on that, but as a white man in America, what are you thinking when you're listening to him say that?
People, how do I frame it? I just think it's more less a cop out and saying like, well, this is why all this is going on. Like that's what I just really think about it.
Skeptic, what do you think?
I think if he was referring to the history of America, it makes sense. If we know anything about historically speaking before the emancipation, they gave slaves rations of foods and pork and certain other foods like watermelon was a staple because it was easy to grow. That was then became cultural. And I think that I love soul food, and like my mother-in-law cooks like the best greens and she does use a lot of pork. So I think that maybe it has become a custom because of, certain ingredients and certain ways of cooking get passed down generationally. So I can see if that's what he was speaking on, I can see how there's a correlation there. But I mean, I think as a whole, I think Americans are just not the healthiest. I think we a lot of processed foods. So I think that as a whole, we need to, begin to eat a little bit more clean.
Well, I think it does go back to slavery. I'm gonna play a clip because I don't think bruh didn't land it right. Bruh didn't land it right. So we gonna land it right tonight to give bruh the words.
Of all these disparities. For too many of us, our primary health care comes in emergency rooms. Instead of preventive care, we're in catastrophic care.
African American men who, at an alarming rate, have been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Health disparities between black women and white women are well documented.
Did you know that African Americans are almost twice as likely to have diabetes?
I would have to say, just based off of the patient population that I've experienced, during my time here in Minnesota in my professional career, and even in residency, we as African Americans will present one for later stages for cancers, more malignant forms of hypertension, uncontrolled diabetes, overweight. There's also some resistance to the whole health culture.
Mental health issues are real, and we have to understand that we can't pray away everything.
Your health transfers over into other parts of your life.
Reality is that African Americans have been neglected and mistreated by medicine, health insurance, as well as banking and other financial systems.
African Americans didn't come to this country as buyers and sellers and participants in the market in a traditional way. We were the property in the market that was being bought and sold.
Medical experiments, malnourishment, poor hygiene, sexual assault, exposure to disease, violence, and many other maladies were visited upon the physical and mental health of enslaved Africans.
The other thing that many people don't know is that for us, on many plantations, health care was attended to by veterinarians, not by physicians. So there's been a long, deep distrust of health and the care of our people.
The medical and scientific community supported racist ideology with diagnoses specifically for blacks. Medical science even identified being black as a disorder, calling it negritude.
The slave owners had to justify their treatment of my ancestors by convincing themselves that we were an inferior people, therefore denying health care, denying education, denying family, so they could live with themselves.
Following slavery, from Reconstruction through Jim Crow segregation, separate but equal laws perpetuated the unequal access to health care. Some scholars conclude that much of today's health disparities are directly attributable to the slave health deficit and all that followed. But too often the focus is on the problems, pain, and pathos found in African American history. Discovering truth, revealing little-known realities, and surprising stories can offer inspiration and
Okay, Kamal, what do you think about that clip and linking it back to slavery and the history of Black Americans in this country?
I mean, the shit was true. You feel me? At medical racism, they was doing experimentation on us and stuff like that. And not only that, it's like we gained a distrust of the medical field, but when we go there, they misdiagnosing us. They doing this shit today. I ain't even gonna mention somebody, but it was somebody I listened to, and they said they were having migraines and shit, and went to the doctor, and basically the doctor basically said, "Hey, rub some Robitussin on that shit, and you be all right." Told him get some damn Tylenol. Like, you feel me? I got my other bruh. You feel? Because like I said, used to hoop. You feel me? So I be around hoopers, and we get injuries and things in that nature. He got misdiagnosed with a knee injury. You feel me? They saying it's one thing, and it's something completely different, which fucks up his leg even more. They done misdiagnosed me with shit when it comes to my leg injuries and things in that nature. But we supposed to be having trust in the medical field since this shit been happening since like slavery. Man, I got a story for y'all. Did y'all know that the coldest slave owner, I know y'all gonna be shocked, you feel me when I say it, wasn't even a white man. It was a white woman. You know this broad was doing experimentation and doing the goddamn human centipede type of shit, taking motherfuckers' arm, sewing it to people's asses, taking people goddamn legs, sewing it to their arms.
What state?
I never heard. They didn't make a movie out of this. I never heard of this.
Well, the worst one in Jamaica was a white woman too. They call her the White Witch. The white. If you ever go to Jamaica, look up the white.
I've been to
White
the
Rose
mansion.
Hall. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
the
white
White
woman.
Witch mansion.
I'm telling you.
cold part.
Was that like a tourist attraction in Jamaica?
Yeah.
We
It's
met a
in
guy and
Jamaica.
he gave us a tour and he was like,
Yeah.
I want to go to the white. And he was like, yeah, White Witch Mansion. He took us.
It's
Like, what is
haunted.
this? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cold
wild.
game.
Yeah.
And another thing, though, they were experimenting
Oh,
on us.
Alexis
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madame
knows
LaBarre.
everything.
Shout out to Alexis
Yeah, shout out to Alexis. Thank you for that info.
for
You
knowing
feel me?
that.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. But the modern medicines we have today and certain things that they had to test it on somebody, right? They tested
Right.
it on our ass.
And so when we talk about this story, it's not looking for, like to drag it out and belabor it, but it's to bring a knowledge and a awareness, because he's saying misinformation by going on there and he's making it sound crazy. So I wanted to talk about this in a way where we say why there is some relevance to what he said, but not to the way he said. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's not the word itself, but it's the racism. It's the misdiagnosing, like Kamal said. It's going back to the food, like Skeptic said. Skeptic had a good point too. Gray, somebody that came from a sharecropper family and sharecropper background. What is your thoughts? Do you now agree with that, or do you disagree? Do you think it's accountability to this day in 2025?
I disagree because my girlfriend is Puerto Rican and Italian, and she's in research. She researched medication. So when they test a medication, they do random tests on people. And she's the one that told me this. She said that they didn't do the proper research for Black people and mostly women overall. So they're trying to do some
Wow.
type of correction where they're trying to like research. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the stuff. She's who I was with in Chicago, but they're allowed to like research minorities. They're specifically looking for specific people so they can tell the FDA, hey, we looked at this for this specific group of people with these medications. And also, some of the most health conscious people I know are Black vegans, like people that pescatarians. I've known plenty of Black people that are like
True.
very health conscious. Now there is an issue with older Black men going to the doctor. So like a lot of the people, they don't go to the doctor. So if you go to the doctor and you get your diagnosis, you probably can catch a lot of stuff before it gets worse.
I did
True.
want to say that there is history. I know that in Mississippi they had like the Mississippi appendectomy or whatever, where they were removing, I want to say it was in like 1980s, they were removing women's like uteruses and sterilizing them. And in Puerto Rico, they also experimented on Puerto Rican women to where I think it was like 1/3 of Puerto Rican women became sterile because they actually were coming up with the birth control medication. And so they used Puerto Rican women to experiment on them. And then you have like the Tuskegee experiments where they put
True.
syphilis into the Black community and did not tell the men what they were actually doing or give them the shot to cure it. They allowed, and I want to say it went on for 30 years. So I can see why there's a distrust. Even now, when you look at mortality rates for a Black woman that's going into labor is like 40-something% when it's 19 or 12% for a white woman. So I think that there's a disparity there. I don't know if it's malpractice. I don't know if it's because there's a widespread of maybe in the medical field, certain people believing that because you are a minority that you have higher pain tolerance. And I think that creates a different way that they come towards how to, provide you care. And like, I've been given the advice, my daughter who's mixed, like my mother-in-law told me to take her to a doctor who was Black. Don't take her to a white doctor because you have a higher chance of being misdiagnosed. And she had like a rare skin condition. And I'm actually glad that I did do that because I didn't want her to be misdiagnosed. Like Kamal was saying, I don't want her to have to go through trauma and then not trust doctors because that doctor they look at you and they have this, they kind of sum up certain things about you and they may think that you just want pain medication or that you're, over exaggerating or something. And so I do think that there are disparities because we can look at statistics and see that, we are seeing a correlation there. So I definitely agree with that.
Facts. Enzo, anything you want to add before we move on?
Thank you for showing the video. To actually open my eyes and have a different opinion about it now with everything Kamal was saying too. I see it a little bit
Yeah.
differently now. I can understand where this what he was trying to say now a little bit more. And yeah, he did miss the point on that. If he would explain it a little bit better, then somebody like me, I'm just the neighborhood white guy on the panel. I would understand it a little bit better, but just the way that it was explained, I typically wouldn't agree fully. But I mean, so thank you for that.
It's the politicians' fault, man. I'm just realizing these motherfuckers stupid. I'm sorry. They don't know shit. They don't like. It's too many of them that just don't be knowing nothing.
They're the ones that are being propped up and paid and funded. I mean, he did go against AIPAC, so I won't say he's part of that. That's why he lost. But anyways, another conversation for another day. But yeah, they're the ones being propped up. Sorry, go ahead. Greg.
Well, with all of us, all our doctors are gonna graduate from medical school using ChatGPT, so we're screwed worse. So I mean,
you got a point there.
Let me tell y'all, the resident caught my daughter's appendicitis, so that's not always true. But
y'all cooked.
Yeah, but I will tell you, maybe when I do on the women's show one day. But it has been a lot of discrepancies with women lately, especially women of color, when it comes to pregnancy and different things like that. And it's only gotten worse. You're going to be shocked by what I'm about to say, Skeptic, but it's only gotten worse since the abortion ban was put in effect. But that's a conversation for another day. But anyways, y'all, we're going to talk about Candace now. So for all the MAGA on the line, you probably going to like this portion of the night. People are already writing me on X as we speak, and they're like, oh, MAGA didn't leave her. She left MAGA. So however you want to look at tonight, you can look at they left her or she left them. But before we talk about the attacks on MAGA, vice versa, I want to just say, MAGA, she wasn't even loyal to her own kind. Why would you think she'd be loyal to you? Let me play this clip and we can get into it, what I mean by that.
Having a broken language, having broken down families was a symbol of who we are. And that is so unique to Black America. I won't subscribe to it. If that people say that's how you have to be Black, that's how you have to be Black. Listen to your psychological conditioning. If to be Black, you can't speak in proper English or you're acting white, right? To be Black, you instantly have to jump up like a fucking trained chimpanzee, excuse my language, like a trained chimpanzee every single time the media runs a story and act angry and riot and talk about how pained you were to see this happening to Black people, but keep your mouth shut. Right? When it happens Black on Black, because if you talk about the Black on Black crime, you're a race traitor, right? To be Black, you need to celebrate LeBron James. You gotta say that you want to be a football star, right? LeBron James, the greatest, right? When you see someone like Dr. Ben Carson, Dr. Condoleezza Rice, you call that person a coon because they betrayed you. You want to know why? Because they're talking about economics. They graduated and they've got tons of degrees. They're not being Black enough. Don't listen to them. Listen to LeBron James when he throws in a Beto cap and tells you that we're literally being hunted down. Right? Because he's not educated, right? Celebrate that. That's our hero. He represents us.
Hey, but wanna shut the hell up. God damn. Come in the chat talking shit.
She said
good
a
with you,
whole
Luana. Hope
lot.
you living good though, bruh. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry.
Oh Lord. It's okay. You fired up. So let me know your thoughts, Kamal. What do you think about that clip? That was coonery at its finest, I think. I mean, if I do say so myself, there was probably more better ones I could have found, but I think I found a pretty good one in 1 minute. What do you think?
Man, she was talking out her ass, man. If you would have painted her in a white face and put her on 4chan, she would be right there with the rest of them suspected white supremacists. What about the Black on Black crime in Chicago? What about the Black Americans? Man, last time I checked, you said you were Caribbean. You kept saying, I'm Caribbean. I'm Black Caribbean. Then you had this bullshit. I'm going to use my Caribbean bias and not talk about Nicki Minaj. But you want to denigrate us? You sound stupid as hell. Oh, if you get a bunch of degrees in education, you're not Black. That is fucking retarded.
I got that clip. Oh, no, I don't got that one.
That's dumb as hell. And look it, every lineage got some dumb motherfuckers. From foundational Black Americans to Italians to Mexicans to Puerto Ricans. God damn it. The list goes on.
But Kamal, I want to prove a point to you about the delineation thing. Enzo, I'm going to ask you a question. Isn't it true that white people also delineate from each other? That they're like, I'm Irish, I'm Italian. There's pride in it. Because sometimes, like, not you, Kamal, but some FBAs are like, oh, well, white people don't do that. I'm like, yes, they do. They say they're Italian American, but then they still consider themselves white too.
I'm a prime example of it. When people do some dumb shit, like white people do some white dumb shit, I say we don't claim them. I am not that white. Or I'll just say it straight up, nope, nope, I'm Italian. Nope, I'm not a part of that. I say it all the time.
And so they say they think you're black because you're on.
Listen, let me go lay out in the sun for like maybe like a week straight. I will be a lot darker.
I'm not gonna lie, Enzo is darker in person than
Yeah.
he is on here. Like Enzo was like almost my color.
I got ring lights in front of me too. That's why it makes me
yeah.
look whiter. Yeah.
But yeah. Gray, what you think about her clip? Did it make you uncomfortable? Did I pick a good one?
My issue with all black people that talk like this, go to the hood, go to the projects, go bearing gifts, go to these kids, all these people who you say are the worst of the worst, hood, they just trash. Go give them some money. Go give them some education. Go help them. Go give them some food, anything. So if you're going to say that we're the worst of the worst, do something to actually make a change, because just sitting there talking trash about us, that ain't helping us at all. Like, at least try to build us up, or go and say, I'm going to do this to help black families if you go talk trash about it. That's my problem with the black people that talk like that.
I mean, we talked about Candace Owens extensively, Gray. I mean, so I talked about her today with Kelly, and Kelly was like, the Candace today is not as harsh and critical of the black community as she used to be. Do you think that she's now distracted? Do you think she's changed her tone, or do you think she's still the same way years ago?
I think she's changed because I think when you get more and more success and you're around other people, because she was with Charlie Kirk and Turning Point, and then she kind of outgrew that whole show and became this bigger person. So she probably saw things that made her change her mind. So I will say she has matured, but the anti-Semitism stuff went a little too far. But I mean, I can't say if it's better or worse.
Now, Skeptic, you said you were a fan of her. You was a fan always, or you was a fan when she told down the black rhetoric? When did you become a fan of her? Because the black rhetoric was
I was
pretty
never
extreme.
a fan of hers. I had heard of her.
You liked her.
No, no. I never liked I never liked Candace Owens. Candace Owens and Steven Crowder, or what's his name? Steven Crowder? Like those two to me, they're the same. Like they're the same.
Oh, well,
they
funny,
have the same
I got a
vibe.
clip of him. We'll play him too because he dragged her. But keep going.
Yeah, and during the George Floyd thing, that is when I was like, I can't like drink like when I'm listening to them. It was so disgusting. Like there's certain things, and I also wanted to say this: all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Like I'm saying, as a Mexican person that talks to Mexicans on a daily, we don't claim y'all. Like we don't claim you guys. I don't care what Nicaraguan, wherever your family's from. We don't claim you. There is like our community goes through certain things, and the ones that stick together, that's us, and and we're gonna continue to move forward. Everybody else can just shoo away because y'all have derived. So like the people that aren't there to build with us, like we just got to move forward, and then they get left behind. And Candace Owens is one of those. So and she is so wrong on certain different like angles of it. There are so many academics that are Black men and women. Like just talk about the NASA. Like when they were trying to reach the moon, you had mathematicians that were Black women. Glenn Larry, that is a huge like economist right now in 2025. Thomas Sowell, like we have a variety of people in our communities. She is not like the Black community is not a monolith. I don't know who gave her the mic to speak for everyone, but she is so wrong, and she is perpetuating this idea of how they look at the Black community, like Cardi B and all of these things. The same thing with like Mexican people. We don't all wear sombreros and eat tacos every day. Like we are not a monolith. And so when I hear people say stuff like her, she's not part of the community. She hasn't been around it enough to really understand it. And we don't claim her. We don't. The same thing when I hear a person that has a Latin last name. I don't care. We don't claim them. They're not part of who we are. There's a certain people that live the culture, that have gone through the culture. Like I learned how to speak English when I was like in 3rd grade. There's a certain struggle you go through that kind of brings you together as a community, and certain people just don't fit. Even if their skin reflects something similar to ours, that doesn't mean that they're part of us. And that's what I think about Candace Owens.
Facts. Enzo, what you think? Did MAGA leave her? Did she leave MAGA?
Did she leave MAGA or
Okay,
MAGA leave
well,
her?
hold on. Before you answer that, let me
Mhm.
stick to the video. Do you think that this was a red flag, her attacks on the Black community? Because for years, up until she lost her job with all those places we named out, she was heavily hard and critical of the Black community.
I mean, just based off the video, I literally just hear Uncle Ruckus. That's exactly what is going on to me. Like, you're just calling them out, but not offering solutions like Gray said. I mean, that's a better way to do it. And then go about it that way. I don't think just calling out an entire community and saying, well, this is what's going on there, and acting like you speak for an entire community is accurate at all. I don't believe what she did was right at all there.
Facts. Well, all right, y'all. So that was setting the stage of the disloyalty by her. In this clip right here, she said something where she literally put her foot in her mouth. I'm gonna play this. This is what started off getting MAGA upset with her.
LG19 writes, serious question, will there be jobs or community military members can join when I get a dishonorable discharge for not contributing to delete people or my body for the interests of a certain foreign nation benefit? I love this question. I do believe that if war in Iran is on the agenda, and that appears so, get dishonorably discharged. Who cares? Who cares? Why should you go die in a foreign land? You now have the benefit of 2020. You can see, think about those men and those women who died because they were pitched that they were serving their country because there were weapons of mass destruction, right? They were serving their country because the Taliban, they were serving their country, whatever, and these people gave up their lives. And ask yourselves, for what? And the answer to that question is for the elites. They're like toy soldiers. And I would have said a few weeks ago that Trump would never do that to you. He would never just throw you into an Israeli war. But right now, our planes are flying in the sky, and things are going nuclear. So I don't have that confidence anymore. And I'm comfortable with people being dishonorably discharged because the dishonor has come from our politicians. The dishonor has come from our politicians who routinely lie in our faces and are willing to let us die to serve their financial interests. So why don't they dishonorably discharge themselves from public office?
Gray, as our resident veteran on the line, what do you think about what she said? Would that be like considered desertion?
Yeah, and I was gonna say that like that was definitely a leader's attitude to tell somebody just to take a dishonorable discharge. They put you in jail if people don't know that. If you can't even leave a certain amount of miles away from the base, and if you get arrested, they can put you in jail. And I've seen people go to jail for being dishonorable discharge, and that affects employment if you want to work for the government in the future. So that stays on your record. So that's not very good advice. I mean, you do get not to say this, but you get a good insurance policy. So if something happens to you over there, your family will be well taken care of. I believe it's 400,000 life insurance policy. You sign a contract, so it doesn't matter who's president. You got to do what the president says. So there's the commander in chief. And as far as like Candace Owens being mad at Trump, she was already mad at Trump about the Harvard thing. It seemed like her, Tucker Carlson, like even Alex Jones, bigger name people are seen to be turned on Trump over Iran. And I think Trump is more with the Iran thing aligned with the neocons and the old establishment Republican Party. Jeb Bush actually congratulated Trump on it, and somebody that was a Clinton administration congratulated Trump.
So do you think Trump is doing a good job today?
I don't think Trump is necessarily doing a good job. Do I understand Trump's reasoning on why he's doing certain things? Yes, because it's Trump, and I would think that Trump would be the first person to like strike just because it's Trump's personality. So go ahead.
If someone's asking, is that a federal charge? Federal charge to do desertion?
Yes.
Okay. Enzo, what's your thoughts? Is that good advice that she gave, or do you think that she's telling people to basically be traitors to the military?
I don't necessarily would say it being traitor to the military. I don't think that's good advice whatsoever, because at the end of the day, like, yes, that's their option to do so. But then again, as Grace stated, that'll fuck their life up at the end of the day. You're going to have a desertion and dishonorable discharge. I mean, even civilian jobs will probably look at that and be like, okay, well, this person's not worthy of having a job or anything like that. I mean, and respect to everybody that has served. Gray, King, Doc, all of you guys, respect at the end of the day. My mindset on everything like that, if people we go in to sign up and go to the military, I don't think influencers are a good or like what she's saying, like, oh, just give it up because you don't agree with what's going on. That's what everyone signed up to do. Like, nobody wants to go to war at the end of the day. But then again, you signed that dotted line, you made that oath to go defend your country against foreign or domestic. So you got to honor that oath at the end of the day.
Enzo, how do people find our Discord? Somebody's asking a question about getting on it.
So they can go to the link in my bio on right there, like it says Dark Enzo on TikTok. It's right in my bio. You can click the link, it will bring you right into there. I'm gonna send you guys over the link too if you guys want to put it on the TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is, so they all have the link as well.
Yeah, I'll add it to our I gotta add that to our chain link. Gray, I'm gonna send you the chain link thing too for you to add to your page.
I'm putting it on.
Okay, Kamal, what's your thoughts?
First of all, hey John, I appreciate you, bro. You said I'm wearing a nice shirt. Thank you, appreciate it. Second of all, I mean, we done heard Dave Chappelle already say this woman sounds smart but dumb as hell. That's dumb to do to distract. I got a homie that did that shit when I was in college, and his life was in shambles for years. Yeah, it's damn near like being a felon. What I'm talking about, it is being a fucking felon. It's a federal charge. You can't. It's like, that's just dumb as hell to say some shit like that. You feel me? And then, second of all, like, did Candace Owens leave MAGA? I mean, she's doing what she's do best, grifting. She's a grifter. Come on now. She been grifting for as long as I've known her. Seen her on the internet. She went from grifting on the black community, talking shit. You know, that gets your numbers up quick, y'all. You want to get your numbers up quick, especially if you a black person, just be anti-black. You feel me? Say some outlandish shit like white men saved me, so that's why I don't need reparations. Just say some bullshit like that. You'll get your numbers up fast. I'm telling you. Then once that wasn't hitting no more, she got in cahoots with the, you know what I mean, certain conservatives like Ben Shapiro and shit like that. She was all buddy, kissing ass. And then after, that wasn't really working out too much, then I'm going to go over here and talk about, you know what I mean, Israel ain't about it, ain't popping, you know, I'm with Palestine. It's a grift. It's all a grift. Candace Owens is like the Michael Jordan of grifting. You know who the LeBron James of grifting? Myron Gaines. God damn. We should make a team of all-stars of grifters. Like,
I got 4. They're all on TikTok.
They're all on TikTok?
They're all on TikTok.
Who are they?
Dean, Parker, Chris, Harry.
Okay.
All them.
What's the name of that like racist guy that has a Rodriguez or that says like racist things? You know who I'm talking about? He's a conservative
No, we
guy.
don't know him. Tell me his name. Maybe we can
You
bring him
guys
on.
have played a clip of his, and he's like, you played a clip last like Thursday, I want to say. Like, he says racist things. He's a conservative, and he was saying something about a girl that sells herself. She'll say whatever if you pay her.
Oh, Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes.
Oh yeah. He definitely in there too. 100%.
Yeah, he's in there.
I don't even know him. I don't even listen to him. There's a certain way that people present themselves. They're so inauthentic. I can just like, they're not really who they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
should make a
Y'all
grip
think Nick is
list.
inauthentic? Maybe he is, because I do believe Nick and this hatred for all people. He has all kinds of friends, so it's like, really, do you really hate everyone? The real racists I know don't have all kinds of friends. I don't know.
I heard he was Mexican, which makes it even crazier.
Yeah, that's
He's
the
mixed.
thing. His last name's Fuentes. Like, he
He's
obviously
mixed. He's
has
half
some kind of
Italian.
Latin in your name. Like, you are a grifter
Yeah.
to even like not like yourself in your community. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But him and Candace, they have a weird relationship. They're not friends because he trashes her and she trashes him.
Man, you know what that remind me of? Have y'all watched the Boondocks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, remember that episode? It had that white lady, and she was supposed to portray what was her name? I don't know her name, but they had the other dude, and he was supposed to portray Reverend Sharpton, and they were in public, they were fighting each other, but behind closed door, they was like, "Hey, that's what I'm talking about. We about to get to this money, y'all. But, hey, keep doing what you're doing." It's the same shit. I'm telling y'all right now.
That's when they wrote the book. He called me the N-word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. So, speaking of grifters, she thinks she's so important that people are paying to attack her. Let's watch this.
And said, Candace, just want you to know, we're on opposite sides of this thing, but there's money behind this pro-Israel movement. Billionaires and Israeli billionaires reached out, asked so-and-so to make a video that is pro-Israel. And then an influencer reached out and said that people are being offered money to make anti-Candace and anti-Tucker videos, up to $1,000 for a micro influencer. That's a lot of money. This person has got to have a lot of money, whoever's behind this. And so today we did something because we're so interested, is we put a bounty out, $10,000 for an influencer that got paid, a micro influencer. Don't care if you're micro. You email tips@CandaceOwens.com and show us the concrete email of who paid you to make a video about me and Tucker and to say that we must be funded by Qatar, because that's the disinformation campaign that's happening right now. And we'll give you $10K, no questions asked. I don't care if you already made the video. We will not ever reveal your name. You can go on and live your life. Okay. Promise that. That somebody reached out to me, someone that I trust very much, and said,
Gray, do you think people are being paid to dog walk Candace Owens?
It's possible. I mean, like, if I felt like, okay, I can't get you, but I can just send somebody to get you and I got the money, why not? You know, like, it's possible. I won't say that no one's not doing it, like, but it's karma. Like, Candace Owens rode the MAGA wave. She was the face of Black MAGA. She was an internet sensation. And this is what happens. The internet gives you stuff and the internet takes away. So now you're getting bashed.
True. Enzo, you think people paying to bag her to drag her?
I mean, possibly. That's, I don't really think that she's that important. Like, I could care less about getting paid to just drag somebody like that. I mean, that probably happens on both sides.
I think her credibility is lost. I think if somebody was going to be paying people, it would have been months ago when she first came back last year. Because shout out to the new party, Me Gray, and our prior member D White. We made videos when she came back on the internet. It was a year ago to the day she came back, coincidentally, and then would have been the time when she was building up her following and she got to the 4 million. Why would people do it now? Her credibility's been shot at this point. What is the point?
Who knows?
She's rebranding.
Yeah. Skeptic, people getting paid?
I don't think so. I don't think anyone needs to get paid to not. She's like a person that you can dislike easily. Just go look at her old videos. Go look at clips of her, the way that she would talk to people. Like, I don't feel like anyone has to pay someone to not like her.
Right. But also, I'm going to tell you who she's saying is paying her, and then I got one more clip. She claims that who's paying to do it is some Israel Christian Alliance. They're writing pastors in America. And she talked about it today where they're saying, hey, it'd be nice if you could mention Candace Owens, and like this long email. And in between, we'll gift you. Because remember, they can't say they're going to give a church money. We'll gift you or bless your church with $25,000. Based on that email, Skeptic, being a Christian, do you believe that people are doing this? She had proof of it. She showed the email. Or do you believe that this is hyperbole? Like, what do you think?
I do think that I don't know how to explain this to her. I've said this before, just from understanding religion, that Judaism and Christianity at some point clashed. This is why we had the branching off of Christianity from Judaism. So someone like Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens, religiously speaking, I can see the clash. I could see that coming from a mile away, being that he is an Orthodox. And so it's very much like they follow certain rules. And when you look at Christianity, Judaism and Christianity don't like, they're different. There's a big difference, even when you talk about like the Trinitarian religion, and you like when you really go into where Christianity even began, and Christians kind of departed from Judaism. So I do think that looking at it from that perspective, I can see why there's a difference, and I can see she and I never believed this when they were saying about the anti-S, her being anti-S, because she was saying Christ is king. I think that is a very Christian thing to say, and I can see that being her religion and what she wants to stand on. However, I think the way it was being used in the context of how she was kind of coming at it could have been a little bit inflammatory, like towards the bases in which she was in. Like, look at everyone that's there. The majority of them have family that are from Israel, or are somehow, even like the Rubin Report guy, even though he's gay, he's still, his family, I want to say, is from Israel. So like, you're like kind of in the midst of this very, they tend to have more like views that are like Jewish based, and she comes in as a Christian who stands on Christian values and professes herself to be a Christian. So I can see that being a clash, but I don't think that Candace Owens is like standing on her character, and that's why there's a clash. I think that she rode the wave, kind of sold herself out, and the wave kind of ended for her, and the MAGA base turned their back on her. And she didn't think that was going to happen to her. She had a problem with Ben Shapiro. She had a problem with what is the other guy? The other guy I was saying that also talked about George Floyd. She had a problem with a lot of these conservative.
Crowder. And that's the clip I'm gonna play. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's clashed with a lot of people, and it wasn't all because of religion. Like, she crashed with them because, number one, you're a woman, and then at the end of the day, what you look like does matter. Like, if you want to be a conservative and move in these spaces, sweethearts, for my Mexican people listening on here that are MAGA, what you look like does matter. So unless you're very pale skin and you don't have all that bleach on, you still won't be ignited to their picnic or whatever it is that they get together to do. So, and this is what Candace Owens found out. This is what she found out. She thought that it didn't matter, that she was just going to, say whatever they wanted her to say, and she was going to be included to the club. And at the end of the day, they shut that door right in her face. And now she's looking crazy,
So basically, she was included because of her boss. I get what you're saying, because of the boss. First, she worked for Charlie Kirk, then she worked for Ben Shapiro. Kamal, what do you think about what Skeptic said? She has a pretty valid point.
Skeptic, that's what you call a Negro wake-up call. That's what she got. That's what she got. She forgot she was black for a minute. I hate to say it, she's still a black woman, even though, but at the end of the day, she got that call. You know what I mean? And the chat kind of saying it for me. She's doing it for a bag. Y'all funny as hell in the chat. Talk about she gonna start her OnlyFans. What's she gonna call it? Exclusively Candace. I will own you. What we gonna do? What they gonna do? Is that her next grift? Good Lord.
Oh my God, that's actually a good joke. That was a good one. I'm not gonna lie.
Who knows at this point?
Yeah, you never know.
Only Candace.
Only Candace. It could be that. Who knows? But yeah, it's just it's like Skeptic said, like she was already beefing with these people. I just feel these people already be kind of clashing, and then they like, okay, at this point, he said, hold on, I thought she was
She's
a
half
tether. How's she
FBA.
black
She's
now?
half
You could be a
FBA.
tether and be black, but wanna. God damn.
But she's half FBA too. Like she's not all Caribbean.
Good Lord. But Juana, you kind of funny in the chat today, but damn it, sit your ass down digitally, please. God damn. Nah, but what I was saying, like what Skeptic said, they already be kind of beefing, you feel me? And it's just like, I think they do this because controversy brings viewership. Does it bring longevity? No. Partnership does. Controversy and conflict brings viewership and quick, and that's what grifters love the most. Just saying.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. That was a good take. All right, y'all. I'm gonna play the last clip of the night. This is Crowder, Louder with Crowder, Steven Crowder. He dragged her. I'm not gonna lie. He just dragged her, and she thinks because he dragged her, he was getting paid. But then once people dragged her some more, now she's blaming it on the pastors. Let me play this.
Said over and over again that President Trump would send you to die for Israel, for the Jews. I'm reading her actual ex-posts. Get ready, white American men. It's time for you to go die for Israel again. If you don't want to die for Israel, then you are an anti-Semite. Sign up to die in Iran for Netanyahu today, or just admit you hate Jews. Here's another one. They tried to redefine anti-Semitism, criminalize criticism of Israel on college campuses. Not true. Most crucially, seed the idea that the declaration of Christ as our king amounted to hatred against Jews. Also not accurate. All of this was done in preparation for the Greater Israel agenda, regarding which they attempted to emotionally manipulate Americans to accept. The conspiracy theorists were right again. It was always about a planned war with Iran and a doomed, heretical belief that mass slaughter of women and children is messianic. Let me read that again. It was always about a planned war. Where's the planned war?
It's all part of the plan.
Yeah. This wasn't presented as an opinion. This was presented to you as fact. And I had many people go, this is clearly a planned war for Israel. That's clearly what Donald Trump is doing. He's trying to get us in. Is that what you're seeing? If it's not what you're seeing, this was dishonest. Here's another one. Our foreign policy is dictated by Israel. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. That seem like it's dictated by Israel?
That's part of the plan.
Yeah.
Deception.
Trump will continue to do as he is told by Netanyahu. Don't drop the bombs. Okay, we won't. That sounds to me like one person's in charge. And here's the thing. That's a good thing. Shouldn't we be happy about this, guys? Shouldn't we be happy that Donald Trump at a certain point had enough and said jump, and they said how high? Both sides. Trump will continue to do as he is told by Netanyahu. If you want to know what America will do, spare yourself the fake White House press briefings and start listening to Bibi. We are a colony of Israel. Your politicians are bought and paid for. Taking separate components, there are politicians bought and paid for by AIPAC, by the way. I can't stand AIPAC for the same reason that I hate Act Blue. They support Hakeem Jeffries. But combining that and saying that we are a colony of Israel, and spare yourself the fake White House press briefings. Also implications that everything here, everyone who disagrees, was fake. If it seems like I'm being harsh, it's because you were told that the people telling you the truth were fake, and the algorithm amplifies it, and it made your life worse, and it embarrassed you. You get it? By the way, the worst part is you don't even get to celebrate the win. No war. Good, done. No nukes in Iran. Great. America is a colony of Israel. Spare yourself all the other fake information and know that you're going to go die for Israel, which ultimately led to an entire coalition demanding the impeachment of the man you voted for. Candace Owens legitimately told service members that they...
Ooh. Okay. So that was a whole lot. Gray, have you ever heard of Steven Crowder before?
Yeah, I think he was like a punter in the NFL, right? And then became a podcaster.
Was he really?
I think so.
Nah, that's somebody else. I know
Oh,
you
that's
talking
somebody
That's
else.
Pat McAfee.
It's not Steven
That's
Crowder. They
McAfee. Oh, okay,
they look alike though. I know you talk. I know you talking about though, but it's not
But
him.
yeah,
It's
no,
like
I don't know who this guy is. No.
So, I mean, pretty much he's going after her because King said it best. She went on Piers Morgan. She said that Donald Trump's been a chronic disappointment. Do you agree with why MAGA is now going after her, or do you think it's been long overdue?
Can I just say something about Steven Crowder? Because I
Sure.
followed their drama. She
Yeah, go
outed
ahead.
him when he was abusive towards his ex-wife, who then left him when she was pregnant. And Candace Owens stood on that and said, that is wrong. And he, like, she had a clip and she replayed the clip that then went viral for her platform. So Steven Crowder is an a-hole and he's a misogynist, and that's why he is divorced. And I cannot stand him. So number one, let's just clear that in the air. So I feel like he's been holding on to that and he has a special dislike for her. But I will say, as a whole, the conservative group is a lot of men, and for the first woman to come in and actually make a splash and be able to speak so eloquently and like say all these things and have kind of like a different view of like Republican views, to me, I understood that it wasn't going to sit well with them, being that she was a person of color, that she's not a white woman. So like I was waiting for the time for this to happen. Like at the end of the day, these men are conservatives, and at the end of the day, like they're not going to be pro you. And the moment that you step out of line and say Christ is king, now you're an anti, S person. So like to me, it's they're when someone doesn't like you, but they're waiting for that opportunity at work to write you down and like put something on your file, but they already dislike you. I feel like it comes from what you look like. Like they already disliked her. They were waiting for that opportunity to come at her. They found an opportunity. She said Christ is king while the whole thing in Gaza was going down. I'm like, what is that even? Like, how is Christ is king a bad phrase? Christ is king is used by pastors and Christians all over the US. What are you talking about? That is what they used to basically fire her from the Daily Wire.
Now I know who he is. Now that y'all said the wife abusing thing, I feel like with MAGA, you have to be loyal to anything that Trump says, or you're excommunicated from the group. That is very much, hey, this is what we're saying, this is what we're doing. Especially if you're like a big person, they feel like your career is based on Trump. They go feel like, oh, you disloyal, and Trump did all this for you. That's what I've seen people saying about her. So it's like they probably feel like it's a betrayal, and I feel like with MAGA, you're not allowed to speak out against Trump no matter what. Like the famous politicians and people like that.
Fair enough. Enzo, you got the red hat on. What's your thoughts?
So, when I always say, when it comes down to MAGA, right? I don't consider MAGA Trump's base. I look at MAGA the way I look at liberals. They're the extremist of the Democrats. They're extremists of the left. I don't consider myself MAGA whatsoever. Just because I wear the hat doesn't mean anything. I'm a Republican at the end of the day. I don't believe everything Trump says. There's a lot of blasphemous shit that he says. There's a lot of things that come out of his mouth that are lies at the end of the day that I call out consistently. So yeah, like when they say MAGA, like I'll agree with you guys that they're just the ones that are just blindly following Trump no matter what he does, and I don't agree with that at all. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say about that.
Kamal, do you agree? Do you think they were overdue from kicking her out, or you think she just went to the cookout and got found out the truth, like you said?
What? First of all, hey Beans, what's good, bruh? Shout out to you, bruh. You feel me? And Bawana, it's all love, brother. As long as you could take the jokes on my end, I could take Rudy Poo ass jokes on your end. Now, anyway, man, Candace Owens, man, you should have known you was gonna get. They was using you as a tool. You know what I was saying? When they done using their tools, they break them. They just breaking their tools right now, man. Like, and look, the thing about it is that Candace Owens is I'm gonna keep saying she's a grifter. So it's like at any point she's for the money. She's for the money, and that's my thing. I ain't mad at people trying to shit on her that's getting money. What's so wrong with that? Or everybody else do it. These politicians do it. You feel me? Actually, people are getting money when they shit on Candace Owens. You know why? Because she does bring viewership. When you talk about her little cronies come around typing in the chat. Don't talk about my mammy like that. They be in the damn chat.
They do.
I'm saying. So technically, you are getting paid when you talk about Candace Owens if you monetize. Now, if you getting extra money on the side, what the hell's wrong with that? That I don't find nothing wrong with that because all the rest of them doing the same goddamn thing. Like that's how I feel. And hey, are y'all gonna play that clip from Donald Trump?
Which one?
Should I play it?
Yeah, go ahead. You could add it to the screen.
I just played a portion that I like what he said.
They're doing.
Okay.
That they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Damn. That man is a comedian. He said they don't know what the F they doing and said it with his chest. God damn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought we had a ceasefire, but I guess not.
Well, they claimed that Gaza got a deal today.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to report on it until I see what happens in 2 weeks.
I'm talking about Iran and Israel.
I'm taking that to the bank.
No, Gaza and Israel.
Mm-hmm.
There's a deal that was negotiated today.
Yeah, but that clip that Kamal played, that was Trump talking about Iran and Israel after the ceasefire.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying, I feel like it led us to this point with them wavering now for Gaza, which is part of why Iran was so, they don't like what they doing over there in Gaza. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But anyways, conversation for another day. All right, y'all. We're going to do our closing thoughts. Ladies first. The floor is yours, Skeptic.
I always say the same thing. Don't let anyone trample on your constitutional rights. And if you're on TikTok, come in, join our talks. We have been having some very interesting lives recently. So you're always welcome to come on and jump on and come give us your political views.
Facts. Skeptic, let everybody know where they can find you. And again, congratulations. Skeptic is now an auntie. So that's why you didn't see her. Many people were missing you in the chat. So yeah.
Yeah, I was gone for a couple days. I got on for a few hours today on TikTok just to kind of let everyone know I'm still here. I just was at the hospital and they're getting discharged in a little bit, so they should be home. But you can find me I have changed my name to theskeptic.tm on TikTok. So now I am under The Skeptic. And then also, you at The Skeptic TM. And we get on there, it gets lively. People are always arguing. We like to argue. So sometimes even amongst ourselves, when it's an echo chamber, we start just disagreeing with each other. So it's lots of fun. You're always welcome to request up. We'll let you up. We do tend to have a long request line. So try and do it early.
And King J is a part of Skeptics Lives as well. So if you're a fan of King J, because King J got a lot of fans last night, honey. The chat was going crazy for him. They were like, "Go King J."
Yeah, so King J and Casso just got his new podcast set up, which he's trying to switch over to YouTube. So, and he has a really nice setup. It's really, really nice. So, yep.
Kamal, what's your closing thoughts?
First of all, congrats, Skeptic. You know what I mean? Second of all, shout out to the chat. Beans came in the building. Shout out to you, brother. You feel me? Bawana, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I actually like your ass, even though I could smell the must through the screen, bro. You got to come over to my streams though, bro, so we could get down. You feel me? Because some of the jokes you got on here, they kind of funny, bro. But some of that shit ain't landing, bro. Anyway, shout out to the new party. You feel me? Nora, Gray, Enzo. You feel me? I do learn a lot on here. Also, y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to the new party. I got the link pinned to the top of my chat. So y'all go subscribe to the new party and also hit that notification bell. The notification bell lets y'all know when they go live. Also on my end, hit the notification bell. That's the most important thing. All right. My thoughts on Candace Owens. She's a coon. She's a grifter. And I guess she forgot that, at the end of the day, she is a black woman. And whenever you do this grifting, coon, bootlicking, like a Myron Gaines, at the end of the day, they're going to break you. They break all their tools. At the end of the day, they always do. Damn. But I guess get your grift on, though, Candace. Damn. We going to make a list on this show. The top goddamn 10 grifter lists. That's going to be crazy, yo. Man, that's all I got to say.
Shout out to Kamal. Make sure you give him a follow, like, share, add all that. He's on X, TikTok, and YouTube. Enzo, tell everybody where they can find you, and remember, link in bio for the Discord and your closing thoughts.
Yep. So everybody can find me on TikTok, either on Dark Enzo or RNC Enzo. For the Discord, it's in the links of both of my accounts. Like I always say too, it was a great episode. Skeptic, you always say don't trample on your constitutional rights. I got the Constitution right here. I'm gonna brush up on it, put it up behind me.
Oh snap!
No, I have it sitting here from when I went to DC. All I really got to say about tonight's episode is I don't like partisan paid influencers whatsoever. I really don't. And that goes for both sides. I don't think people should rely on them as much as they do and get all their information from them. People should be able to look things up themselves and have a mind for their own, because people follow these people, even like Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, everybody that's on TikTok that is big, Chris, Harry, Parker, Dean, and they just have a hive mind and they just believe everything that these people tell them as fact. I like it. I like how I am, and I don't do this for money. I don't do this for clout. I don't do this for likes. Same thing with everybody on the panel. I love all of you guys. I see exactly everyone's mindset. You guys are not partisan to one party at all. We all think independently, and that's how everybody should think in the world, and not just look to all these influencers, all these news sources, and just have a hive mind. Everyone should think for themselves at the end of the day. So, I mean, Candace Owens is getting heat for whatever reason that people wanted this week. It's going to be somebody the next week. There's somebody, like, no matter what people say, we're always going to find somebody else to just throw under the bus as news. And that's what is going on right now with Candace in my eyes.
Facts.
I like your Constitution, Enzo.
Thank you.
Facts.
Oh, can I say something real quick? Hey, King,
Sure.
not sure. Enzo, is that your friend?
Yeah, that's my buddy. That's Keith.
Okay. When you post links on YouTube, sometimes I think if you're not a moderator, sometimes the links don't work. If you send a link, sometimes that shit don't work.
Even as a mod, it doesn't work. It won't let me do it because I've tried.
Okay, yeah, the link's kind of iffy at times. It's like, so I just wanted to point that out real quick. So, yeah, the link stuff, man. Yeah.
I'll do my final thoughts. Congratulations, Skeptic, on becoming an auntie. Great show tonight, and like how Enzo was saying, like people shouldn't go to an influencer for information. That's one thing that I like about the new party, and that everyone has a different thoughts, because I learn something every night. Every night that I come on here, somebody says something that I didn't know, and I learned something new. So people should keep an open mind and try to like research, because if you listen to both sides, you'll probably learn something. And Candace Owens, I guess, is showing she's going on both sides, but we'll see. We do this every Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Like we always say on the new party, always vote.
Yeah. Okay. Guys that follow us on TikTok, we've lost our TikTok. You can go to my TikTok, Nora Christine 26. Grace should be having his in his name. I don't know if he did today, but nevertheless, please go give us a follow. We are starting over. So if you want to see our exclusive content, head all over to TikTok. But my closing thoughts is this. Like, it's propaganda. Like Callis Walker said, propaganda is amazing. People can be led to believe anything. I think Candace Owens' grift is up. She has grifted. She grifted on attacking Black people. She had grifted on attacking the Black community. And I stand on MAGA. If she wasn't loyal to her own kind, why would she be loyal to y'all? What did y'all think was going to happen? Like, come on now. Y'all get all excited when you hear these Black content creators, these Black far right people attacking Black people. And I'm going to tell you, that should tell you that they are sellouts, they're liars, they're losers, and they're not loyal to Black people. So why would they be loyal to you? These are the kind of people that we call as traitors. You should not want to have somebody like that be on your team, because if they were traitors to their own kind, they'll be a traitor to you. And, we'll be back here next week, Monday through Thursday. Check us out at noon as well. We do lunch with the new parties. So God bless. Thank you for everyone watching. Have a great night, and always vote.